we interrupt this program with a special report.
I got a message for all you folks out there in Radio Land. So sit tight and bend an ear.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Manga Monday Show. My name is Edgar.
And I'm Ben.
We got a Ben here.
We got a Ben right here.
We-
Sorry, I didn't know you started. You started very
Well,
fast.
yeah, I
You
just
pressed record and just usually you do like a 3, 2, 1.
one
Go.
iCarly style.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I was just like, oh, he's starting. Oh God.
Let me
but
get on stage.
I was
Like-
literally looking at this guy playing like beer pong. I was like, oh, interesting.
Let me get on stage or get ready for the camera that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Has there ever been a moment where you were backstage for like a play and you're like, oh crap, like you forgot, like,
Oh yeah, I mean, most of the times when it's an actual performance, I'm actually pretty good about getting into place on time, just because the fear of missing a cue just
Yeah.
destroys me.
you could like.
Um,
I remember in the musicals we like hang out back like in the dressing rooms, and like the audio would be playing, so we know when it is. But there's like an anxiety in the back of your mind where you're really having you're talking with someone like, oh yeah, remember, and then you like kind of listen,
And you're like,
yeah,
oh.
like.
Nah, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it is a terrifying feeling. That's why, especially professionally, I try to get into place about a minute before I usually do, just to be sure.
Yeah, good times though.
Good times, good time. You were talking about a Broly meme before we started?
No, I was
What
just like,
Broly meme?
I was on. It wasn't a Broly meme. It was just a Dragon Ball meme.
Oh, okay.
And like, the joke was that it was basically Beerus like falling for Chilai, and then
Okay.
people were like joking like Broly's got to level up now if he wants to defend her, or like Broly's crying right now. But what's funny is that I liked it, and I've never, like, 1 in a million times will I see a Dragon Ball meme, but I liked that one video, and then immediately after I saw like 5 Dragon Ball
Yeah.
memes. I'm like, what the? I just
Welcome
like this
to
one.
the algorithm,
No!
social media algorithm, and now you're in, Edgar. Now you're in. now that you understand the memes, the TikTok or whatever you liked it on is now like, oh, welcome.
Oh, you like this
Yeah,
now?
welcome, friend.
It never happens with the things you intentionally want to keep saying.
No,
though.
definitely
Like,
not. Definitely.
But
not.
I guess I'm gonna be seeing Dragon Ball memes for like for the next
yeah,
few.
for the next few years. Yeah,
Yeah, forever. Like
Yeah,
I'm-
probably.
I'm in now.
you're in there. You're in there. Yeah. Well, how was your week, Edgar? What'd you do?
It's been going pretty good.
Good.
I watched an anime, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, because that's my job. I don't get paid for it, but you know, we
I don't
gotta-
get paid for it, but it's my job.
Yeah.
Eventually, we would like it to become our jobs, but you know.
I don't even think people.
Not this podcast, meaning we work on anime and manga. That's what we want.
Yeah. That would be a nice job though, anime watcher. Like, can we like beta test watching anime to see like, hey,
Beta test.
you know, like beta test gamers, like, yeah,
Yeah.
like they just like play, like, yeah, this works. This is pretty good.
Yeah.
We watch it, like, yeah, this could go really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. yeah.
I guess it's just reviewing anime.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess. But I watched Call of the Night. Have you heard of this anime?
No, I have not.
It's about a vampire girl and a guy who's obsessed. Not obsessed. He just hates the day and he just like likes wandering the city at night.
Oh, so me? No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. He like sneaks out of the house and the night looks
Ah.
like beautifully animated. Everything's in color, and then the day is just like bland when it shows. in
Oh
the show.
man, that's great.
The music, the OP and the ED, like I'll play them for you. They're like they're bangers and
That's
they're
great.
really cool. Like this anime is like beautiful and like
Well,
it's funny. It's rom com. Like
I'll put it on the list.
yeah, put it on the list. Add it to the billions.
Yeah, it's
No,
like,
but it's really
like
good.
that Captain America meme. I'll put it on the list, and it's just like an entire anime list. It's awful.
Yeah, but
It's literally-
his journal was like 5 things.
yeah,
but like
but
our
ours
list
is literally a million things.
Yeah.
Oh god.
No, but
Jeez.
it's really good. In this recent episode, not the one that this week came out, but the one I recently saw, like it's a rom com, but all of a sudden there's like an action sequence, and like the budget like dials up like a
right.
million, and it's like oh. And apparently there's like a bunch of action that it's all great. It's really good. I highly recommend it to you or like anyone who runs upon it. It's really good. I don't know if you want to talk about this separately, but I saw House of Dragon.
Yes, we should talk about it.
House of the Dragon.
We should talk about it.
Really good.
Really good.
Yeah, this one was. I was not really looking forward to watching this one. I just like. I saw trailers and I'm like, okay. And the recent trailer, I'm like, it's pretty good. But like, I saw it premiered. I'm like, oh, it's premiering. Oh, I guess I'll watch it. You know. But I was kind of worried, because like I'm getting myself back into Game of Thrones when I kind of shouldn't.
But yeah.
But I watched it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. I'm actually kind of liking this. And it's just the acting is great. The writing feels like back to like it's. To its roots, but it feels like a different show, unlike Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
it's just really good. You're just getting subtle world building again. Like every time, like it doesn't say, "Hey, look, remember this." It just shows like oh, it's House Baratheon. I'm like, hey, I know who that is. Like, or I know what that is. Like, you know what I mean? It's just really good. And the villain, Daemon Targaryen, as Matt Smith. He's great.
Yeah.
No, not the character.
I don't know. I don't even know if he's the villain. This is what I love.
Well, he's the setup antagonist,
Well, this is what I love about all of Game of Thrones and all of the world of Ice and Fire is that there was never really until the show started to decline. The show began to go, okay, these are the bad guys and these are the good guys. Whereas George R.R. Martin, he loves to write morally gray characters. And I think, to be honest, we know who the heroic characters of a Song of Ice and Fire are. Jon Snow, Ned Stark. Dany sometimes rides that line.
Well, she was for the first few seasons, obviously.
Yeah, she kind of rides that. Well, even in the books, she's a little bit more, morally gray.
Okay.
She does a little bit more morally gray stuff. In the show, she's shown as more heroic until she murders thousands of children.
As one usually does. On their bad day, of course.
Awful day.
We wake up sometimes
God,
like
those bells were just so annoying.
Yeah,
right. Town go brr. No, but we know who the heroic characters are. But there's really, you can see the Lannisters as an antagonistic force. But still. Even sometimes you feel bad for Cersei.
Yeah.
Even sometimes you feel
like one time, but that's pretty much it. Like,
I felt
Cersei's
bad for
Cersei
a couple of times.
Like other than like her, I can't even think of one. But I know I was like 99%. I was always pissed off at her, even when she had her cool moments.
But still, I think the only antagonist of A Song of Ice and Fire was really the Night King, and the White Walkers.
What's his face? The guy who took over Winterfell.
Theon?
Yeah. No.
Well, Theon.
The other guy.
Oh, Ramsay Bolton.
Ramsay Bolton. Yeah,
Ramsay Bolton was
he's
a villain.
Clearly,
he was. In the books, he's a little bit more, he's a little bit different, but he is clearly an antagonist. You're right. I completely forgot about him.
Yeah.
And of course Joffrey. But
dude's
Joffrey,
a menace.
Joffrey, of course. But they're still, but like you can't. What I'm saying is you can't degrade a house to or a person to the villain, and I think Daemon, he's not. I genuinely think that he has love for his brother,
he's not I'm not saying he's a bad person, but I'm not saying he's a wholly bad villain.
Yeah, he's toxic, but I love it.
But I figure he's going to be the villain because of the foreshadowing that happens. And I think if I remember correctly when I was looking up the book, this part of the story and history is also called the Rogue Prince. So I would assume that
he's called the Rogue Prince.
Yeah, so I would assume that he would be an essential character, and that sounds like a title.
I believe this part is called the Dance of Dragons, which is so. I mean, I don't want to spoil it because you haven't read the book, but it's like the book is just a bunch of short stories that
tells in a historical this is what happened
exactly because in A Song of Ice and Fire, as you're reading right now, it's told from the first person viewpoint. Like all the chapters are called John 1, 2, 3, Sam 1, 2, 3, all that stuff. But in this one, it's written down in a historical context by a maester, and the maester has two different viewpoints.
Accounts.
He has one of them that tells one of them is like a What is he's the leader of the Light of the Seven. I forgot what their names are. He's the grand whatever that is. And he tells the story very blandly and with less accounts of squabbling. He tells it in a very political, professional kind of manner. And then the other one he has is a joker, is a jester from the court, and he tells the story in a way where there's a lot of backstabbing, there's a lot of underlying, sex
High Septum,
themes.
sorry.
High Septum, yes.
Yeah, that's the one before, yeah.
And there's a lot of underlying sex themes and a lot of, just quabbling and just a lot of drama. So he took both of those, accounts and kind of mashed them together to create that. So it seems that this show is actually taking it from, like how Game of Thrones did, which is a third-person view because we're watching all of it. Yeah. But it was really great. Like I was very, very happy with it. I wasn't going to watch it, but my dad was watching it, and I walked downstairs and I was like, ugh, I don't want to eat even.
I guess.
And I was like, I don't even want to. And I was making food, and then all of a sudden, I'm 40 minutes in, watching with my dad standing there looking at it like, ha ha ha, this is great.
Your roles were reversed because that's what dads usually do. They pace around the room. They're kind of like, just change the TV, and then you're like, this is stupid, and you're like, and then like next moment you're just kind of silent, like, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this.
This also happened the first time I watched Dragon Ball. I was like, this is so stupid, and I was like, this is actually great. When I was
Who
like,
was
in
watching
middle
it
school.
then? Or was it just on like you on the TV? Like,
oh, it was me in middle school because I was like, because I read it in elementary school, and I was like, I'm too good for.
Oh,
this
I thought you
now,
meant someone was watching it. And you walked by.
No. But it's just everything I love about Game of Thrones is, like you said, the subtle, push towards the houses and all that stuff. Like I love hearing about houses that you're like, well, they're not around during Game of Thrones, so something happens to that guy, like, or the beginning of houses, like that guy in the joust, like he was the son of a steward, but that's the house dairy that comes from Dorne. So you're like, oh, these are the beginning of some of the houses that come into prominence. I love House Hightower. I love House Hightower. They don't have a big portion in the books, but Otto Hightower, he's like a weird mix between Tywin Lannister and Littlefinger, but he has like, he's honorable, kind of like Ned Stark, even though he sent his,
daughter to
18-year-old daughter.
You should see if this guy wants a happy time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, and wear your dead mother's dress too.
Yeah.
But like he does those scheming, but
he's a friend
dude,
to a extreme extent.
Yeah.
In a not good way.
And the turning one of the Valerians into a person of color, brilliant. He's from that
the guy with the white hair.
Yeah. The sea snake is what his nickname.
The guy who's married a husband to the queen.
The queen who never was.
Yeah.
I just realized if we go down this route, I'm never gonna stop talking about it. So let's just say I liked it. I thought it was great. However, YouTube was like, oh, you liked House of Dragons? Well, here's all these videos you've already watched about how bad Season 8 of Game of Thrones was. And I was like, yeah, I'll give them another watch. And I went down that rabbit hole last night, and now I'm depressed again.
Yeah, all the actors were really good. Matt Smith, obviously. I just realized that
the actor for the King, was awesome.
Yeah, he was in Hot Fuzz and World's End. I realized, which is really funny.
One of the Kingsguard, Scott McTavish, he was Dwalin in The Hobbit.
The guy who was like, he's like the right hand man for the princess or whatever.
Yeah, and he was like when he saw.
You're not a dwarf. Like
exactly.
you're a regular
He's like
human.
Tall.
Yeah.
And when you see, I'm always surprised because you see stuff and you're like, God, Gimli is taller than most of the cast of Lord of the Rings. It's crazy. But like when he saw Matt Smith on the throne, and he's like, "Gods be good." I was like, God, it's like Dwalin, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
that opening shot for like Damon was so good.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's like you can't even see him because most of the
Mhm.
throne is covering him, and then when it shows the line, like it's
Yeah.
just as I said. It like it's bright, the light's kind of like
Yeah.
blocking it, but it's like zooming in, and he's kind of just sitting there. Oh
Yeah.
man,
He looks.
it's
I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say that wig looks absurd.
Yeah.
But his acting was so good.
Yeah.
And his character was so good that it made me forget about
Yeah.
it. Like I am a sucker, Edgar, for characters, for costuming wise, for characters with a one-sided cape. And this MFer had a one-sided cape that looked so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And when he came out, he was like, "You are all stray dogs. Now you're a pack of hounds," and stuff. And then he puts it like, I love when people have that one-sided cape and they can put it over their arm, and it's like it like covers their arm like for warmth and stuff. I'm like, God, it looks so cool. And his helmet and stuff during the joust, that looked really cool.
Yeah.
He's prepping up to be, such a cool character. But I've watched a bunch of reviews, and a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it was boring other than Damon." And I'm like, I didn't get that at all. I thought every character
No, I feel like
was
most of the
interesting.
I can say in confidence that most of the general public really liked it.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
Everyone really liked it and has new interest in it.
Mhm.
It's just it's all great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I have a new show to look forward to weekly.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't get your hopes up though.
no, I mean I'll be with weary caution, and it's Also, I gotta say, like, the worst thing about it was the CGI. Surprisingly, a lot of this,
I wasn't bothered by
the
it.
dragons like had some horrible like
Sometimes
CGI.
I think it's when the humans are like touching them like this. I think that's when they get
The
into
worst
a weird
one. You should go back. The worst moment was when she says Dracarys, and like it shows that upward shot, and he's like burning. Like that's like probably
did
the
it
worst
look bad?
one.
Oh yeah.
But it never.
That was a good scene though.
It never turned me off. I was just like, wow, I thought that's not good.
It's just such a. It feels like such a fresh of breath air because I feel like a lot of the shows, especially on Disney Plus, I feel like that a lot of the times they're trying to like they spell out the plot for you, but in this one, like it took me a while to be like, oh my God, the kid died. Like when the kid dies. In like the maester's arm.
Oh yeah.
Like the way that they tell you that is the maester looks at it and his like face changes, and there's a whole other
and the
scene,
king's reaction looks different. Yeah.
and there's a whole other scene in between that where Damon is like fighting and stuff like that, and then after that you get the confirmation, oh, the baby's dead. So they don't tell you. I feel like if this was any normal television show, they would have gone, "Yo, Grace, the baby is dead," and I feel like that would have happened, but they don't spell it out for you. It's just really, really good. And also it's a little bit disappointing when you hear the guy talk about, the Song of Ice and Fire and he's like,
oh yeah, it's gonna hype up. It's good. It sounds like really cool, but we know how it ends. Like,
yeah, it's the end of humanity, and you're like, and I like that. And then when it showed him holding the dagger that Arya used, I was like, no. I was like, stop talking about this. I was like, now you're making me
remember. I'm remembering.
Exactly. I'm like, now I'm remembering. Make this stop.
I'm just gonna make a fanfic in my head and predict something else that actually happened.
Well, a lot of people are like, oh, I know how it ends, and I'm kind of like, but do you though? Because we don't have a canon ending to it yet. So I'm kind of like,
will this rewrite it? Like
exactly. That's what I'm saying. But yeah.
This is a pretty good show. This is like probably the only live action thing I'm looking forward to, other than Better Call Saul, but because I'm not caught up to the the ending.
I watched the.
Oh, did you watch the finale?
I watched the finale. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Utter brilliance. Just wow. It really tugged on the heartstrings, and it makes you. It's got that bittersweet Breaking Bad universe kind of ending.
Yeah. You hear they're making a sequel called Breaking Bad? It's really stupid.
I know,
I don't think
pretty sick.
why ruin something good.
I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's about
It's about that meth dealer that Saul was like flashing forward to.
Yeah, that he
doesn't make any sense.
I'm just so it's a little bit weird. But
won't be watching that anyway.
But
other than before we move on to the news, anything other than watching shows that happened with you, or is that pretty much it?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to finish Vagabond, which is great.
You mean catch up because it's not,
Oh yeah. well, I think it's finished, but
Oh really? Oh
yeah.
man.
Even though I don't know, we'll see what happens. But because he's only posting like slam dunk stuff. I just feel like he doesn't have the energy to.
Guys,
finish it.
I don't like Vagabond.
Yeah.
Can I stop? Can I just stop? Will y'all be mad at me? Like,
even though it's a masterpiece, like it is really good. But yeah, I'm waiting for the final volume to come in, and I'm wary and worried to read it. I'm also catching up on Spy Family, so that's what I'm doing.
Cool.
Yeah, I also want to start reading Kaiju number 8 because it's only like 68 chapters, and I want to join the hype early.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it from me.
Let's go on to news.
Let's go on to the news. Why don't you start, buddy?
All right. Sword Art Online, the movie Progressive Skirts of Deep Night, is delayed due to the fact of the impact of COVID-19. This had a set release date for, I believe, October, was it? Or somewhere around that time for Japan. And we were supposed to get it much later, in the States. But now it might just be delayed even further, which sucks. It's not good news.
Yep.
But, I kind of expected that. Oh, it's supposed to come out September? Wow, really? It was supposed to come out September, so now I guess it's getting delayed back further.
Yeah.
Man, that sucks. I was really looking
suck.
forward to that, but hopefully it comes back soon. I don't know what exactly caused it. I'm pretty sure it's just like usually recording for cast, like when it comes to anime, recording is like the last thing, right? Is it the last thing that comes?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the actors or something like that. Or maybe just editing. Maybe just editors are just sick.
I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it is I've never gotten a good answer on that. Whether it's the voices first or the animation first.
I'm pretty sure I've seen one way. Or I think I've seen both.
I think I've seen both where it happens because also sometimes the sub actors do not match the lips that are being spoken. So it makes me think that sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't. Like I think Toei Animation does the animation first and then does the voices.
Yeah, and I remember seeing Attack on Titan doing the voicing like really early on, before they did the animation. So I guess either one way or another, it's affecting the movie, which is unfortunate. But either way, we'll be looking forward to it when it comes out.
Yep.
One Punch Man will be on not a hiatus, but it'll be taking, I believe, a 1 month long deserved break, and the next arc will focus on the Psychic Sisters arc according to the source. So it'll be focused on Fubuki and Tatsumaki, which is Tornado, and I don't know the hero name of Fubuki. Fubuki is the older chick, the more adult looking one.
More adult,
and then Tornado is like the lowly,
the little one.
But they're great characters, fan favorites on both ends. Like everyone loves Fubuki and Tornado, and dude, 1 month break, you totally deserve it. Cause Jesus, that this arc was like extremely well and really long. So yeah, you definitely deserved it. Also we got Jujutsu Kaisen has some special news coming.
Oh right,
September 18th. Information about season 2.
Yes. It can't be anything else.
Yeah. No, it says it right here. Like it says Jujutsu Kaisen September 18th, and it showed like a visual of Yuji, and they'll be giving out information season 2 trailer. Hopefully. Probably just be a teaser PV, but either way, a visual of season 2 would be. Amazing. Yeah. To say the least. I don't know what it'll be on. I'll be picking up the manga, hopefully soon, because I just, I don't want to say I can't wait for it, but it is something that I do want to read, at some point. That I do want to read because I have the latest volume just recently.
I know he buys all the volumes.
You're like
you idiot. Read it.
That's you. That's me with you in a lot of things. But
I don't buy things I don't read.
Well, I plan on reading. I've read almost anything. But
you should read it though. It is like, I mean, when we hit 100 subscribers, we're gonna do our top 10 manga. But it is top 3, top 4. It's brilliant. Like I really love it. It is. Every time I read a chapter, it makes me go, God, I want to write my own right now. It's so good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So Jujutsu Kaisen fans or Mappa
Mhm.
fans, look forward to that. It's gonna be some
Yeah.
goodness.
Good goodness.
Overlord, the movie Holy Kingdom, was announced. A
Mm-hmm.
teaser visual image. Overlord's getting, movie, which is great. I'm watching, season 1. Well, not like obviously the new season, but I'm just catching up because I'm like wanting to get into Overlord, which is really good. I'm a huge fan of the isekai genre now because I just end up, liking them a lot, which is
Yeah.
cool. In a recent interview with Vinland Saga and Attack on Titan's creator, the series author for Vinland Saga says, as a matter of fact, there are not many roadmaps left. We are not far away from the final chapter. And they also expressed their love for each other's mangas. I don't know which ones was it. I think Vinland Saga's loved Attack on Titan or Attack on Titan.
It was Attack on Titan's creator is a big fan of.
Yeah,
Vinland
Isayama
Saga,
really loves Vinland Saga.
And of course, they're like
both Wit Studio and Mappa Studio
they're both
animes.
Wit and Mappa, and they both come from the same publisher as well, which is, I believe, Kodansha.
Yeah, it's Kodansha.
Kodansha, yeah. But I have there's a whole bunch of things that talked about here. So he said Isayama first got into Vinland Sagas through Yukimura's previous work called Planetes. And I'm like, oh, I got to read that now because, Yukimura has created my favorite ever work ever. Yukimura says he was inspired to write Vinland Saga because he wanted to explore his own ideas about violence through the perspective of a pre-Christian culture, which I really think is interesting. Isayama says there was a certain point in the creation of Attack on Titan when he stopped being able to control Eren, which I think is so
He's
awesome.
out of control. I can't do anything.
He's like he's writing something and Eren's like,
there's no easy. No, yeah, there are memes about that. Like, like remember, like with it's like Isayama's like Eren's dad, and then Eren's like, do it, kill the character,
kill the character. Dude, that's really great. I really like that. Isayama's favorite character in Vinland Saga is Thorfinn. I mean, come on.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, Yukimura thinks that the Vinland Saga anime is better than the manga, which is interesting. And recommends everyone watch the anime before picking up the manga. I disagree. Read the manga. I think he's just being like.
There's a lot of elements that the anime adds, like the music, and then the choreography is like phenomenal.
But also the art and the manga.
No, I know.
He spends months on the backgrounds, dude. Like I think.
No, I know. Yeah.
I think even if you read, I think you can read the manga alone and you'll be fine. Just listen to the soundtrack as your, But it's just like I think he's just being humble.
I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he could.
Yeah,
there's
maybe
some people
that,
prefer anime just in general, and the anime is one of those where I can defend.
Yeah.
Like it adapts it, phenomenally.
Yeah, the manga is really good right now too. So both manga creators are delighted that their works have been well received overseas. Yukimura is also a big fan of My Dress Up Darling.
Yeah, nice, bro. Me too.
While Isayama has recently finished a binge watch of Stranger Things on Netflix.
Nice.
He has also enjoyed The Boys and Obi-Wan. So,
The Boys.
So yeah,
He's a king for that.
He's, he enjoyed Obi-Wan, which is nice.
Yeah, his taste kind of went down.
Yeah,
that's when I disagree.
That's when you go down.
Yeah.
Vinland Saga transitioned into full digital workflow during COVID-19. So chapters 168 and 169, that's when he started to be digital, which is interesting because you can kind of see the change there. And then, of course, Yukimura particularly respects Isayama for being able to draw Attack on Titan continuously without a break, because I don't think he had a single break throughout his run of Attack on Titan. So, yeah, that was great. There was just a lot of information dumps about two of our favorite creators on there. So, yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else other than let me.
Do you want to talk about Crunchyroll moving to Japan?
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. I don't have the thing in front of me, but you can talk. I mean, I'll talk about it. I mean, yeah go ahead.
So the award ceremony is gonna host musicians, creators, and guests at the Grand Prince Hotel in New Yakinawa's Hilton Main Banquet Hall in Tokyo. So yeah, they're just gonna have it there. A representative from Sony Music announced on Wednesday that the 7th annual Crunchyroll Anime Awards will take place in Japan for the first time ever. It just goes to show how big Crunchyroll has gotten, how big that they've become. that they're literally so tied in with Japan that dub actors and creators who we know, ProZD, Justin Briner, who we love, they're going to be over there in Japan doing that stuff.
Hopefully we get to see the Japanese actors and creators as well. I mean, we've been seeing like the directors and like a few
best sub actor.
We see some. They show videos. Actor. I just like to see them like mingle. I can't hug.
There is a picture of Justin Briner and Deku's voice actor.
Oh really?
In the sub, that's great.
That's really cool.
That was just interesting, I thought.
Yeah, nice.
MAPPA's CEO is interested in adapting every Satsuki Fujimoto manga.
I saw that.
He said, which I think is fascinating because I didn't know he made Fire Punch.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I'm always I always love when an author a mangaka had created something that is somewhat popular before, which I think is great.
Yeah, I hear it's good. Different stuff. Also, he has one shots that could be adapted into like a mini series, like 5 episodes, or like a small movie or something like that. That'd be really cool. I really look forward to that.
So the last two I have here, Dragon Ball Super superhero anime worldwide outsells Broly. So what we assumed was going to happen in Japan, it didn't outsell Broly, but worldwide it did. And that comes down to Crunchyroll being better distributors than Funimation was.
They have the upper hand anyway.
Yes, because when Dragon Ball Super Broly came out, it only released in U.S. and Canada. And it earned about
that makes sense.
9.8 million. But Superhero released in places like Spain, Mexico, Argentina, Peru, Ireland, Chile.
I was gonna say if Broly came out that way, I'm pretty sure Broly would be on top still.
Definitely,
Like,
definitely.
Because I was really surprised. I'm like, huh? I mean, I like superhero, but I just thought like, really? I thought people prefer like Broly like a lot more.
But most of this comes down to distribution.
Yeah.
But Crunchyroll has just taken this thing and just been Funimation could only release in US, but now Crunchyroll is like, all of you get it. You know?
And and it's really cool to hear that that the anime movies, as they usually do, but I feel like they're not like discussed. Like, it's always Chris Stuckman, which is a movie like reviewer, and like he like talks about movies.
Oh, I love Chris.
His recent review on Dragon Ball.
I don't know why I said it like I know him. I love Chris Stuckman, the YouTube channel, the guy who runs it.
I like I love his content. And I love his
great.
reviews. I really trust him a lot. And he was talking about how like the movie industry in like the West always view like the success of anime films a surprise, like they never expected.
Come on.
And he talked about how people were talking about the movie like Bullet Train, calling it the last blockbuster of the summer, when you have films doing just as successful, not more now, with anime films coming out. And with Demon Slayer, I'm pretty sure, like, why is this all popular? Like, why was this, super successful?
Come on.
It's because, like, it's growing to the point to where, we're going to have to acknowledge, like, the world, like, this summer's biggest blockbuster is an anime movie, and people are going to be seeing on regular television commercials, where, like, we're getting to that point to where it's just, like, it should be in the norm always when talking about these movies, because they make such a big impact where you can't ignore it anymore.
Definitely. And I mean, we have right here the only movies to outsell this worldwide and in the U.S. box office was Demon Slayer, the first Pokemon movie, and Dragon Ball Super Broly. Dragon Ball Super Broly did outsell it overall because it stayed in the theaters for a long time because people went back to see it. And Jujutsu Kaisen 0. So those are the only movies that really outsold all of that. And in other news, I just wanted to add this in because I was in the anime. So I thought this was interesting.
I was in the anime.
Quick flex.
Well,
I was.
Quick flex.
Quick, just a little quick flex for you.
Yeah.
No, I was in the dub for an anime called Laidback Camp. I don't know if the episode that I'm in is out. I wasn't following it that well. But they released a film and it earned 1 billion yen. So good for them. And it's Laidback Camp. It's literally just,
Ben will be in a movie? Question mark?
No, I played male counselor like 2A.
That'd be
I did have a good chunk where I talked about how to start fires and what not to do when camping.
Nice.
Basically don't die. But yeah, so it was a surprise that it sold this much, and the film opened at number 3, of course, behind Superhero and One Piece Film Red. So yeah, really
Very
good.
cool.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And that's all for the news.
Yeah. This isn't really news, but I just thought this was like not hilarious, but
Oh?
just like super, like wow! I did not think it would. Top Gun Maverick became the 6th highest grossing domestic box office film,
Yeah,
beating
you didn't know
Infinity War.
Yeah, yeah. it beat
That is
Infinity War.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, it is crazy.
I love Top Gun. I just didn't think
Yeah.
it'd be that successful. Top Gun
I
Maverick.
didn't think it was gonna be that good, to be honest.
It is really good.
It
It's
is really
just
good.
it's a sequel where like it should not be this good. Like
Yeah.
it should not have been this successful. But Tom Cruise, man, he knows how to do it.
He knows how
Yeah,
to do it.
a lot of good stuff. Is coming. It's all good. But let's move on to the main subject of today. Ben, you've been reading a certain series.
Yes, I have.
I didn't really recommend it to you, but I just told you that you should check it out because I feel like
Yeah.
it goes under a lot of people's radar and has such a big impact when the anime and manga community.
Well, a couple of months ago, they went on hiatus for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna catch up, so that when it comes back, I'll be here for it. I'm about 250 chapters away from that, from that goal.
Yeah, it takes a while.
So it took me a while. I've been reading this one very slow, Edgar, over the past 3 months.
Totally all right.
If you don't, we're talking about Black Clover.
Yeah, I
know
don't
if
think we
said
meant.
it.
No, I was building up
Black
to
Clover. Woo!
it. Black Clover. I don't know what I was saying, but
Yeah,
either way, Black
no.
Clover. I know we mentioned it, and Ben had interest in it, so I'm like, really? I've seen that too, or like I know what that is, because
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else I know talks about it, because it's just
Yeah, my friend Alec read it. He is a less than enthusiastic fan about Black Clover, but he
Yeah.
still reads it.
Yeah, it's one of those, and we're gonna get into it and voice our our final thoughts and opinions on it. But it's one of those shows and manga where I like it, but I don't understand why it has so much hype behind it.
Did you watch the anime? Or
Yeah,
read
I
the
watched the
manga?
anime. I watched. The
I
anime.
think the anime looks better than the manga.
Yeah, but the pacing's kind of really stupid.
Well, I think the pacing in the manga is still a little bit.
Really?
iffy,
I figured.
you know?
I think that there's a lot of times where the animation kind of failed.
Yeah.
Puro.
Oh, really?
It does it. It's same animators who do Boruto and Naruto. Naruto had great moments, and Boruto has
Yeah.
2 episodes that are good. But they're busy.
Doesn't it have 300 episodes?
No. But 2 good, you know what I mean?
2 really good episodes.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
And then they're busy with that.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know. I'm gonna say this now, and I'm gonna say it in the end because this is the perfect way I can describe Black Clover. It is such an underrated, series, show, and manga.
Mhm.
People should check it out, but ridiculously overhyped
Yeah.
to the point I'm like, it should not.
So it's underrated until it's not.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well, no, it's underrated all through and through because
Yeah.
I feel like people are like, huh, what is this? Or you know what I mean? Because it does great numbers and it has such it has a good following, just nowhere near as big as My
Right.
Hero and I would argue One Punch Man even, but it's just
Oh no, it's not even
Really?
anywhere near One Punch.
yeah, but I just see people talking. I don't want people trashing on this series because I enjoy it to some degree and I think it
Yeah.
has a lot of good stuff. It's just I feel like people kind of go a bit too ham on it when
Yeah.
they go to praising this and don't
Yeah.
talk about.
I hope people, because I'm
have a-
gonna voice some strong opinions about this
Yeah.
manga. I enjoyed it. I enjoy reading it. I love Asta. I love most of the characters in it. I love the art. But I hope new viewers who are seeing here is like, oh, this guy's a hater. No, most of the time
It's Ben's turn now. I hated on Obi-Wan. He's gonna hate on
I know, but no. Most of the time, when it is, I'm more lenient on things that are original creations, like all manga are. I'm more interested in stuff, original creations, which is why I like to do plays, which is why I like to write and read manga. I like that because I feel like when a corporation gets their hands on stuff, they see it as numbers, as ticking boxes, which is why I feel free about being vocally displeased with the MCU at times. But I think there are some things that I need to talk about I overall enjoyed it. I'm just gonna say that flat out, just in case anybody's like, "Man, Ben's such a hater." I don't want to be. I want to talk about things I enjoy and love, and I do enjoy and love Black Clover. But my writer in me is a little bit like, oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of I feel like this. I haven't seen Naruto, and people tend to like go back to Naruto saying
people
like,
say it's magic Naruto.
Yeah, because it's exactly. And I haven't seen enough of Naruto to say that, but I definitely felt that when I first started this series, because it feels like it could be any. I feel like it could be any series. Like
funny, Edgar, because you said the exact same thing that I was about to say. Because I was like, because I read up reviews and it was like, it's Magic Naruto, and I was like, I haven't seen a freaking episode of Naruto, and I know that it's Magic.
Yeah,
Naruto.
exactly. Yeah, like it feels like it's being like it's a what if like series, kind of like it's like imagine this. But this, and I'm like, that's the show. That's basically what it is.
The show,
and it has like a lot of cool moments, and and it is successful. But it's just has that vibe that you can't shake, to the point where it has like all the tropes, all the gags, all the stuff that you don't like about anime and shonen, and all the stuff that you do like about it.
Here it is.
Yeah,
in full front.
You have Kristen Sabat in the dub, and that's all you need.
That's
like
all you
it's
need,
pretty every other anime ever.
But just so you know, before we get started, Edgar is going to kind of go over it, because, guys, if I'm not like fully 100% interested in a story, I'm not going to remember the names, right? It takes me a while. When I first started watching My Hero, I was like, Rocky guy, red hair, and then lightning dude, I don't know. It takes me a while for me to learn names. So right now I have maybe like 3 names, but that's just like, I know the people. Like I always forget Yuno's name. Like I'm like
who's
Asta's
the
best friend. I'm like, I don't know his name.
Who's his brother or like best friend? Yeah,
guy with fairy. I don't know their names.
Yeah.
But I did read the story. I did enjoy it. I know the story. It's just this one's taking me a little bit longer, because and you'll figure this out later, about one of my gripes with the series. There are so many characters. There are so many characters in such a short amount of time, but we'll get there later. So why don't we go ahead and start on this?
Yeah, the first arc starts off as the Magic Knight's entrance arc. We get introduced to Asta, who is like a magicless boy. Apparently,
and I really like the first chapter, by the way.
Yeah.
I think the first chapter was a good switch, because a good bait and switch, because there's a lot of times where like the best friend can become that kind of, antagonist.
That's what I like about, this is like one of the first big shonen series where the rival character is a good person.
And the best friend isn't toxic.
And it's a healthy rivalry, brother friendship thing, to where like, hey, I'm going to be this. No, I'm going to be this. Well, we'll see who gets there first, and they're all chill about it.
Yeah.
And, really good. It's something, that was like one of the most refreshing things. I'm like, yes, a good rivalry friendship that isn't like toxic like Sasuke and Naruto.
And I like Asta's like obsession with the nun. I think that's hilarious.
As we all are, but come on, Asta, you got to get off that. Like
exactly. But it's good. It's good. Like it it is really good that like they set up Asta as, he doesn't have any magic. It was a good setup. It was a really good setup to the episode.
Yeah, Sister Lily. Asta and they come from an orphanage and church, which is really nice.
Yes.
And, everyone in the world has magic. And they can use, like, they can basically do anything. Everyone has a grimoire. And that's, like, their magic system, what they use to, like, fight, basically get along with life. But except for Asta, who has no talent whatsoever. Doesn't get a grimoire at first, and obviously has the 5-leaf grimoire Clover, which is supposed to be legendary and supposed to be only go to the most powerful wizards ever. Asta doesn't get one. Oh no, I'm sorry, I completely messed it up. Gets a 4-leaf Clover,
and he gets the 5.
Yeah, Asta eventually gets the 5-leaf Clover, and it's like, and as the narrator says, because I remember the dub so clearly, and in the 5th lies the devil, or a demon or something like that.
Okay,
that's what he says. Like, ooh, like,
oh, look at that.
But yeah, Asta has a sword comes out of it. It's not inherently magic from what we first know, but he gets a sword. Like yoink, he gets a sword.
Which I thought was cool. I thought that was interesting. Like, there's not a lot of times where we get, obviously the author has said he's, I was about to say we don't get a lot of big swords other than Berserk, and the
I was
author
gonna
said
say
he is
a
inspired
Berserk
by
fan.
Berserk.
Like big sword, like I know what you mean. Like,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, but eventually, because of like this newfound magic, quote unquote, that Asta gets, they head off to the royal capital to take the entrance exam.
I was like, when I read that, and then the 5th chapter, I was like, really, an entrance exam? I was like, I'm okay with entrance exams, like in in modern day manga that take place in modern day, but I'm just like, I feel like entrance exams are it's the most anime thing I've ever seen,
Yeah, and it's kind of, I mean, it's not so odd to get in this
No.
world, but it is like in My Hero, like it makes sense because it's
Like
a school.
you couldn't have called it like a tournament or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I just thought it was weird that they called it an entrance exam, and I'm like, isn't this supposed to be medieval? Like,
Yeah.
like it sounds like it's like today. And I love most of the time I love entrance exams. I love the My Hero entrance exam. I love like
I guess we're
usually
saying
like it.
I guess we're saying it makes sense in that set world
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than
yeah.
this one, and which
Yeah.
makes it just kind of funny.
Yeah.
But they head off to the royal capital to take the entrance exam.
Yes.
what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I noticed what I mean by the pacing is that at first it didn't get me, but like I look back on it, I'm like, why did it take so long for me to get into it? Or why is it taking me so long to get back into this show? What is it that I don't like about it, even though I watched like 150 something episodes and I really do like it? And I saw that this first arc, the Magic Knight entrance exams, is 10 chapters, and it's 13 episodes to take care of this entire thing. Now I know the chapters, are like 20 something pages, a bit long, but it shouldn't. Usually 10 chapters should equal down to like 5 episodes at most, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
yeah.
why? I'm like, it took that long. I'm like, no wonder I have such problems, like with the pacing of this.
No, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I just kept looking at the comparisons between like, even minus the filler. I'm like, why did they take so long with like, with all this to the point? But I was like, oh man. But regardless, that was like one of the few things that I really didn't like about the anime. Then But even you said like the manga, it's pacing issues. I have not read the manga from start to where I am now, so I guess I'll just need to go through it and see.
Yeah, read it right now in front of me. No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kidding.
Let's just read the whole.
Yeah,
Let's start from
chapter 1. Here,
chapter
you read
1.
Asa, I'll read
Humanity
Yeah.
came to being.
Yeah,
Oh
there you
man,
go.
Asta's both sub and dub are like unbearable in the first few episodes.
Unbearable?
I thought it was just the dub, but I heard in the sub. Listened to the sub, and people complain in the sub too. I'm like, man, Asta's voice actor is like hard to get through in these first 20 episodes, but it grows on you. But they both do, and they both do a great job. It's so funny because like Asta's sub actor in the sub is Shinra from Fire Force.
Oh, really?
And I love Shinra in the sub. He sounds so cool,
Yeah.
but like he's so whiny and yells like some. You can probably tell in the manga. He
Of
yells,
course, he's a whiny boy, but I mean, it wasn't as jarring in the manga, so I didn't
just
care
like
as much.
Usopp in like One Piece. I'm like, this guy is
Yeah.
like annoying on the anime. I can just tell.
Oh, yeah,
Is
yeah.
what you know what I mean? But they take the entrance exam. Like they kind of introduce these things like, oh, if these birds like float to you, you have like you have like little magic, and has like none, and then Asta has like 1 billion on them. But they take these entrance exams so they can go into a Magic Knight squad is what it's called.
Yeah.
And essentially they they do these competitions, and then they at the very end they kind of battle like one by one, and then they judge like, oh, you're good or not, and then they go by selecting, then eventually like he gets like all the squads voting for him, and then Asta,
he joins like the Crimson Dawn, is that what
the
they're called?
role. I think so. I think something Dawn,
The
Crimson Dawn.
It's gotta be, right?
Yeah.
Even though Crimson Dawn, I'm pretty sure is also a Star Wars organization, so I'm a little bit nervous that I got that wrong.
Golden Dawn. There you go.
Dawn.
Golden
Oh
Dawn.
God, that's bad. Golden Dawn, I meant to say.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
well,
I completely forgot about
You'll
it.
just cut that out, right?
I knew Dawn was in the name.
Yeah,
but
of course.
if
The Golden
essentially
Dawn.
everyone wants him, and
Yeah.
because is just like naturally good at everything, and then Asta isn't, because that's kind of the trope. But Asta gets chosen by one Captain Yami. Doesn't really like saying I want him, but he approaches him like, why try? You know what I mean? You suck.
Yeah.
You should just give up. And then Asta's like, no, I want to keep going. And he's like, I like you. Why don't you join my squad? And we kind of slowly find out the Black
Yami's
Bulls.
like, okay. Yeah.
are- They're kind of the runts of the litter, in
Yeah.
Black Clover.
I do have to say, I think Yami is my favorite character.
Yeah.
However, I think his archetype has been done better elsewhere. I think he is my favorite character, but I think his archetype of the teacher who's like, ugh, who's a little bit more disgruntled.
Yeah.
I think it's done better, like in Aizawa and My Hero, and and just other in Chainsaw Man, it's done better. I think, So yeah. But I love Yami. I think he's when he did cool moments. Those are the moments that I really remember.
People describe his character as the protagonist who already had a show, and it's
Yeah.
like his show's done, and now he just like kind of sits through everything.
Yeah,
It's like,
makes sense.
why am I here?
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, he can like easily
Good.
solve a problem like in a few seconds, and he just
Yeah.
kind of chooses not to.
That's a good description of that.
Yeah, Chris Sabat does such a great
does
job.
Chris
with-
Sabat voice?
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
Chris Sabat, yeah.
That's perfect.
He's such a great, voice actor. But eventually, Asuka gets chosen, joins the Black Bulls, and we head to the dungeon exploration arc. Or, what first happens, he gets introduced to the Black Bulls. You meet characters like Luck, Noel. Holy crap! I already forgot the names.
I have the character list here. I know one of them. Like I can explain them to you. Like I can explain their characters, but I can't explain who they are.
I know what they look like and like what their tributes are, but I forgot their names. I forgot the guy with the glasses.
The guy who likes fighting. The guy
That's
who,
Luck, yeah. That's voiced by Justin Briner, which is really funny.
Oh, really?
So,
is it?
Yeah, so it's like Deku, but like violent Deku.
Yeah, so we meet Magnus Swing. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Right? Magnus Swing.
Yeah, he's
and
voiced by Ian Sinclair.
is he?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
that's really good. We meet Gray, but we don't know who she is yet. She's the like shape shifting one.
Oh yeah, it's
know?
and that's just what he
Yeah.
sounds like in the anime.
Oh,
like
like-
it just grunts and makes noises.
Yeah. We meet Gordon.
Dude, he's so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When I saw him, he has cool moments, but I'm like, why is he here? Oh, his only gag is like everyone's like, "Hey, what do you think?" Like the Black Bulls like have their fun and they say something, and then you just hear going.
Yeah, my favorite has definitely been Magna and Luck. Like,
Yeah, 'cause they're the ones that stand
because
out.
they're not one note. Like that's the thing with a lot of these characters. They are one note. Like with
They also have a clear established
yeah,
friendship like
exactly.
together. Yeah,
I love Charmy. I think Charmy's funny.
Yeah,
but
she's funny.
But she's
Yeah.
also one note. Like she just eats, and then when she doesn't get to eat, she becomes into like a demon monster. We
Yeah.
also get Gouch, who is the sister lover.
Ghosh. Yeah, or I don't know how you pronounce it, but
I
it's
don't know
Ghosh in the
either.
anime, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the one that like, hey, what do you think of my sister? But if you also look at my sister, I'm gonna kill you. And he like nosebleeds. Like, I didn't really have a problem with it. I just like, is this supposed to be funny? Like,
yeah, that's
you know,
what
like,
I'm saying.
I
I'm like,
I
don't
find
this
your
funny at
I usually
all.
find this guy kind of ridiculous,
Yeah.
and like usually most anime make it seem funny. Like not Yor and Yuri.
Yeah.
That's one of the most hilarious like episodes or like chapters in Spy Family. But
It
with
is
this one,
funny.
I'm like, okay, I guess we'll just skip. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I have a problem with both, but it's fine in the story. But me reading it, I'm just like, I don't want to listen to hear
What's the
this,
chick's name?
Vanessa.
Yeah, there you go, Vanessa.
But yeah, I don't know their names. I have a
She's-
list of the names.
She's
just
the
so you
hot
know.
one. Like,
Yes,
she's the one.
I when immediately I saw her, I was like, okay, so they just checked that box off.
Insert
you know.
Nami like
Yeah.
bikini list for no reason bikini
Ex-
for no reason
exactly,
character.
Bikini for no reason character. That's a great name for her.
Yeah.
Bikini for no reason character. And eventually in the underwater dungeon arc, we do like she gets a little bit more depth.
The next arc following
she
that,
becomes like the
she's-
kind of like the co-captain. In that in that arc, but
the next arc. I mean, that's where you stopped. But the next arc after
Yeah.
that focuses on her like a lot more. So if you're
Yeah.
interested in that, you got good stuff to look forward to.
Oh, good.
You get introduced to all of these, and then obviously they focuses on Noelle for this first bit. Where like, hey, we have another Black Bull incoming.
Yeah.
And what'd you think about Noelle? What'd you think about her? Obviously, she's a tsundere type character.
She is a tsundere. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the tsunderes. But I mean,
she made
I
me
understand-
hate tsundere
Oh, really?
archetypes.
I'm actually okay. Eventually, I became okay with Noelle. The first couple of chapters, I didn't like the way she was drawn. I think she kind of looks like a circle at times,
Really?
and I'm like, why is she drawn like this? And I like there are some times where I'm like, seriously.
I think the opposite.
think-
I didn't like her design. I mean, her design's fine, but when I saw the
Mhm.
manga, I'm like, she's more beautifully drawn in the manga than she is in the anime.
Right, but I also don't have the so I'm just going off of
That's
that,
okay.
so,
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
fine.
But I think that I actually liked her until she fell in love with Asta, and that's when I
Until
was
she met
like,
Asta. Yeah.
Well, no, because she's a little bit more. She's like, I don't care about you. Like,
I'm
and
rich. You're dumb. Get out of my
Exactly.
way. And then like when she like. When Asta saves her from like her own spell because she can't do magic properly,
Yeah.
she's she like ends up falling in love with
Yeah.
her so clearly, but she's like, no, like I can't, no, like
And
you know what I mean?
it would be fine if they have a relationship. That's fine. But here's how you make this joke work: is everybody falls in love with Asta for some reason. We don't know why.
Ben,
for
he's a shonen
reasons.
character.
He's a
Why
shonen,
can't he?
But Yuji is a shonen character, and nope,
Yeah,
not
but-
everybody falls in love with him.
Yeah, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is just like the hey, every anime trope.
Yes, of
Let's
course.
do that, but also at the same time, like not do
But
that.
not everybody loves Deku. Well,
that's not true.
He does attract a lot of hotties. I know.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean. But also, here's how you make it work: is you make it work in the sense that everybody falls in love with Asta except for Noelle, and then what you do is you make their relationship more, because as I'm reading this, I'm like, he's gonna probably end up with Noelle. But
It has to happen. I mean,
it has to happen, which I get it.
I'd like
But
to
you
see a
make it-
shonen anime not do that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
But how you do it is, if you want them together, you make Noelle not like him until, eventually, eventually they get closer and closer as the series goes on, instead of love at first sight stuff. Like I actually applaud My Hero Academia because that's what they did with Uraraka until they had that scene where she was like, what am I doing? I need to chase after my own goals.
But she's not a
And now
tsundere,
it's-
which makes it not unbearable.
Exactly,
I think I like the
exactly.
tsundere trope in rom-coms and romances and harem animes, but in shonen action,
Because they're needed in that. That's a part of the plot.
yeah, but in battle, like in shonen, like anime, like like regular battle, like whether my hero, like if it's in My Hero or like anything else, I really
Yeah.
don't like them. I don't like, not Hinata. What's the chick's name in Naruto?
Oh, I know who
Sakura.
you're
There
talking
you
about.
go.
Sakura.
Sakura. I hate her in the anime. 'cause
I know
she's
that. I know that they're like Naruto's characters, like the female characters, are not written well.
She's
at
like
all.
beats on like Noelle beats on Asta to the point like, what is it? What are you doing? Like
Yeah.
when Asta's like, hey, grab on, like, okay, the only person in front of me is Noelle, so I don't want to fall off this stupid broom. I hold her, and then she like punches him off the broom. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Can you have like no self control? To the point, like, poor Asta, man.
I don't like how she has white hair. I don't like it. Like I thought
well,
she was
technically,
blonde. I thought she was blonde.
It's more purple in the anime, I think,
Oh,
if I
okay.
remember correctly. It's like
Um,
kind of a light
yeah.
purple color,
Yeah.
like.
I was a fan of her backstory though. I like the idea of like that.
Yeah, her
you
family
know-
sucks.
Yeah, her
Like,
family sucks. I mean,
yeah.
it does. But I like her character, just not the tsundere stuff. So yeah.
That's like, unfortunately, that's like most of her character.
90% of her character, and it becomes unbearable when like her sister also falls in love with Asta.
Yeah.
it becomes almost unbearable.
Yeah, in the anime, it's kind of it's whitish, but it has a purple hue to
She
it.
looks better there, but that looks like newer animation. Like
This
you
is
know.
I don't want to spoil you on showing her
Okay.
the newer, but it's kind of purpley, kind of
Yeah.
very very light hint.
Sure.
But this arc, I kind of forgot about it. But basically, what happens is Luck, Asta, and Noelle, and it's just them three, right?
It's just
Yeah, they just go into the dungeon to
Mhm.
conquer it.
because they had a little thing with Magna, like.
Oh yeah, it's like this is your
Yeah.
first thing, like
Yeah, they
right?
had like that first thing, which was kind of to set up the main villain.
Oh yeah, I
um,
completely forgot about that. Magna goes to his hometown.
Yeah,
I don't know what
and
for.
It's been like subjugated or something. But it's a really short thing. It's just to set up things in the future.
That felt, pretty. Yeah, I
but-
completely forgot about it.
but
Either
then-
way,
yeah,
that happens. Asta meets a bird, and the bird has like a magic stone that he gets,
Yeah.
which will be
I like
revealed.
I like the burb.
Yeah,
like
the
the
burb
burb.
is funny. It's like a
The burb is funny,
design,
yeah.
and it just like pecks on him. It's really funny.
I
yeah.
like the burb.
Burb is funny.
Mhm.
And then Luck and Noelle and Asta go on their own little mission, which is really
Mhm.
cool. we get some. I think if I remember correctly, we get some backstory with Luck, how he's just kind of a very violent child, and his
Yes.
family outcasted him and
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah.
I like his powers a lot.
Mm.
Before we keep moving, what do you think about the power system in the show? I think
I
it's
don't-
one of the worst and dumbest power systems ever.
I don't. It's interesting because we're about to record a Shonen Junk where we talk about this.
Yeah.
So check that out. That came out last week.
I think
but-
one is not only really boring, but two, way too vague. Like where like I feel like if you have a fire type power, you can do the exact same things as a water type power.
Edgar, I hate it.
It makes like
I don't like, and I don't use that word willfully, but it's just like it's not. The powers are not unique enough to the sense where it's like where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna remember that this person has that power. I also hate the way it's explained because I'm like, I'm not going to remember this stuff.
it's kind of not explained, if I remember correctly. Like
It's
it is
not,
like
yeah.
everyone's power is explained, but like the whole thing is like not explained.
Yeah, I do not like this power system. I think the grimoires, I think they are fascinating. I like Asta's power, but I think that yeah, I don't like. I still don't know what Yuna's power is.
It's like air, essentially. It's air. I don't know what the exact name for it is, but that's basically
Yeah.
what it is. It's just like an
but
air
also,
type thing.
like I'm only 75 chapters in. Maybe it gets explained more, but
It
I
does.
don't know.
I'm like at 140 episodes in, but like I'm at the point where like it feels like everyone could do
Yeah.
basically kind of the same thing. They don't exploit each
But then-
other's weaknesses to enough.
Oh, dude! But then they also add stuff like what's Yami's thing, like ki or stuff like, or is it?
Yeah,
is it chi?
he introduces some. That's like a more of a combatant like fighting style. Like you can use ki to detect other people's aura when aura doesn't. When
yeah,
you don't have aura.
I don't know about that. I think
His
like,
power isn't ki. He
Yeah.
uses ki
He
to
uses
fight,
chi,
but his
yeah.
but his power is like the dark shadow,
yeah,
whatever
but
you
that-
call
but
it.
that's also like I'm like, why are you adding this so early? Like you shouldn't be adding stuff to the power system this early on. Like
I
especially
think-
when it's not explained.
I think you're right. It isn't explained, but I think it was necessary, especially in Asta's case, since
Yeah.
he's using a sword, much like Yami, but doesn't have anything else to use it
oh,
with.
that it makes sense
Yeah.
for Asta. That's what I mean. Yeah.
it
You're
makes
right.
sense
you,
for
you
Asta.
you swayed me. You're right.
But I agree,
Yeah.
it's not explained that well
No,
to
no, no.
to where like like
like
why.
I don't
Like,
know
what it is.
I
like,
don't
you
know what a single person's power is other than Yami's and Asta's. I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
don't know.
so I feel like God,
Isn't Lux like lightning or something? I don't know.
Lux is lightning. It's just like I
Yeah.
feel like they're doing too much with it to like I know Magna has he's like fire, but it's like why a bat? That doesn't make any sense. And like what I feel like you know what I mean? Like I feel like
mangaka wanted to draw it. I don't know.
because I feel like they limit themselves to these things for like no reason. Like Magna
Yeah.
with a bat, I'm like you can do so much more, but at the same time, like they can do too much with these things
Mm-hmm.
where it's not special. Like the entire Fuegoleon, like not the Fuegoleon. I mean the family Fuegoleon's family is like are like big members, but I forgot what their squad 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 was.
Let's basically this arc at the end he gets a new sword and the Golden Dawn is there and
yeah,
they
gets gets
Yeah.
a what?
he gets a golden star. Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they get
And then-
awarded or whatever. Yeah.
And then he gets a new sword and they find the treasury and like the villains are also there for reasons I guess they like I think it would have
There's
been
a Shadow Ash villain or
Yeah.
something like that.
I think it would have been more interesting if it was just the Golden Dawn versus the Black Bulls in this one.
I
However,
think you skipped to the. No, did he skip? I don't remember.
No. This is the same. The dungeon arc, the dungeon exploration arc. This is the same one, where this is the same
Oh,
one.
see, because there's. Oh yeah, because and Mimosa show
Yeah,
up with
and they're there.
Yeah, you're right. And then there's a
Yeah.
guy from the Diamond Kingdom there.
Yeah,
Essentially,
yeah.
their fight was pretty cool. And gains.
It was cool, and Luck's fight was cool too. Any kind of changes, which I liked. I was okay with this arc. Like it was okay.
Gains an elf, which is essentially
Yeah.
a spirit. I don't know what they're called. A spirit, but essentially
is she also a Sundara?
Yeah, she kind of is.
Count her as that too.
But she's more like a. I guess, but she's more like a lolly that gets mad at anybody who flirts with, talks to but loves but kind of just doesn't care, like, because he's so emotionless and like quiet to where it pisses her off. But Asa gets a new sword, and gets the spirit, which essentially we see other spirits in this world that essentially if you have them, it like ups your magic by like a ridiculous amount or something like that. And that's pretty much it. And then we move to the next arc, which is the Royal Capital Assault arc. I remember you complained to me about this one because this is the one where like we get introduced to like more houses and like leaders, and like, hi, this is like, let me go find that chapter. I know exactly what you're talking about.
So there is a chapter in this arc where half of it is literally just, this is when I was beginning to be like, okay, this is getting absurd. There's a chapter in this arc where half of it is just introducing like the leaders of some of the new parties, or some of the, I forgot what it was, or some of the, it was like introducing the captains. And when you're an author, right, what you need to do is you need to know everything. You need to be the god of your world, but you have to keep some things close to your chest. Reveal it when the story needs it. Don't reveal it to go, I feel like the author of Black Clover. I feel like,
yeah, and this is it. He's like, hey, blah, 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 blah. You, blah, 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 blah,
oh my
you,
god,
blah, 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 blah,
bro,
blah.
it looks worse
you,
on the
blah, blah, blah,
page.
blah.
It looks worse on the page, bro. It's literally 2 pages of it.
Like everyone gets
Oh my
like 2
God.
chunk paragraphs, like literally everyone. I
And-
get you have to. I don't know. There's just better ways to do this.
I stream it on Discord, and my friend Alec was like, yeah, you don't need to read that. And I was like, okay. And I didn't. So, it's
By the way,
Oh my
the Silvers or whatever Noel's family is, stupid haircuts.
stupid haircuts.
Like it's like the mohawk thing,
Absurd.
but like it's also braided, and it's like
braided.
you
Oh
look
my God.
you look
I was
stupid.
like, you
my
look like
guy.
an idiot. Exactly. But it's like when you're an author, you need to keep things close to your chest and reveal it when the story needs it. Don't reveal it. Don't reveal everything at once. Like, look, go back to it. Like, let me read like what it says. Like for one of the characters, it gives like their entire backstory in it. So here we go. So Sol Moran of the Blow Ruse Knights with 6 stars earned. Why do I need to know that? I grant you the title of Intermediate Magic Class 3rd Knight. Why do I need to know that? You're as dynamic as the guys. Why do I need to know that? Both that and your creative earth magic are amazing. Why do I need to know that yet? But you're a bit too much of a free spirit. Like, you just revealed everything I need to know about the character.
It's
so
like
why would I care anymore?
It introduces like exposition the way like an 80s, like a cheap 80s movie. Hey man,
Exactly.
I know you're my best friend and all. We've known each other for 6 years, but you need to get over that one time I ran you over with my truck when we lost that football game.
Like that one line from Shang-Chi. Like I love Shang-Chi.
Oh,
that
yeah.
One line
Oh,
where I
that's so
turned
bad.
to Edgar and I was like, I hate this movie, but I didn't. I loved
The movie
it.
was great, but
Yeah.
that one, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. It was like
because-
when they talk about the high school like
Well,
moments.
because Katie, she's talking to Shang, and he's like, dude, I guess his name was Sean at that point, and she was like, hey man, how long have we been best friends for? And I'm like, why did you need to write that? I hate when people do that, and Black Clover is full of it. This arc is when Black Clover really started to annoy me, and I needed to take like 3 days of break from reading it, otherwise I would have imploded. Also in this arc is when Asta wins the exact same way he's been winning in the past couple of arcs. He gets beaten down, and then he comes back through his sheer willpower. And then at the end of it, he says something that doesn't need to be said.
I'm
and
going
then
to
at
become
the
the
end,
Wizard
he
King.
goes, it's because I'm going to become the Wizard King. And I'm like, okay, it's becoming absurd at this point.
Normally,
you know.
I've seen Naruto, and Naruto does this. I'm gonna become Hokage, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, does he do that?
Yeah, but it never annoyed me because I don't know. And when Luffy does it, I'm gonna be the Pirate King. I feel like it's when people ask him, or it comes in naturally where they ask what he wants to be. But Asta will shove it down your throat that he wants to become the Wizard King.
This is something that Alec told me before I started reading this. He said Black Clover has some good themes, but when Tabata has a theme that he wants you to know, he shoves it down your throat like nobody's business. And that's exactly what I feel like is the story is just going, look at this theme. Also in this arc, oh my God, I hate this arc, Edgar. Also in this arc, the higher ups, Noel's family, once again, they hit home at, oh, Asta's a lower class, you know.
Like it's really
like,
in your
dude,
face.
I don't care about this anymore. We already know this. This is what the first arc was for.
It makes you hate them, which works because what you're supposed to do. But they
supposed to
really
do.
hit home on the rich really hate the poor. Like there's such a difference. Like every single like rich snob always thinks that way.
But I already know this at this point, right? Because of the interactions that we got with Noel and you know all of this stuff. But I understand it, and I understand a lot of times manga is for, you know, younger audiences, but it can be enjoyed by everyone. I'm just saying that it's like that there are some not glaring story issues, because I think the progression of the story is actually pretty good, but I just think that in terms of forcing it, Tabata, you don't need to do that. Like, I feel like he's forcing the themes and the issues of the story just down our throats, and it's exhausting in some points. Yeah, and it makes you roll your eyes, you know.
The only thing I remember from this arc is that Fergolion gets captured. The Eye of the Midnight Sun, I think, is their first introduction. Gets introduced here.
Is this the one where we meet? Is this the zombie guy?
Yeah, the eye patch guy.
Is this also when we meet the Wizard King? I actually like the Wizard King.
Wizard King's really good.
The Wizard King also gives me the vibe of his main character, but story has
because he's obsessed. He's
literally Deku.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you have a power. I want to know everything about
like,
it.
I love the power.
He geeks out about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that. I think that's a great quirk for a character to have. Quirk.
Yeah, and he's one of those characters. I really like the trope. I've never seen it done wrong before. At least I hope not. Or to where like it's that thing.
There's probably something out there.
I know, but it's that thing where like everyone sucks. But like when the leader walks in, they all like kneel down or like they all respect him. He's just that cool. Kind of like with the Hashira and you know the leader. Like everyone like you kind of don't like them, and then like all of a sudden like you know they respect them.
Well, let's move on for this arc.
Yeah, you're
talking about this arc anymore is gonna give me a brain hemorrhage.
So we move on to the Eye of the Midnight Sun or something. Yeah, the Eye of the Midnight Sun encounter.
Yeah,
arc.
when he gets captured, Asta gets captured by them.
No, it's when the children get kidnapped. For them.
Oh.
See, and I know what happens in these arcs. I just forget how they start.
I forgot that this arc happened. It's because
this is one of the best ones.
It's because this is one of the best ones, but I did forget it happened. It's the sister lover. He takes them to his town.
Yeah, to meet his to visit his sister, right?
Yeah, and then
let's say sister lover, but I know what you mean.
That's what he is.
Well, he doesn't. What makes it seem so is that he just talks about his sister, and he does love her. But what makes it creepy is that he gets nosebleeds from them. Yeah. And usually in anime, nosebleeds is when you find someone attractive or sexy, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
But
also, the sister lover falls in love with Asta, just like everybody else.
You mean the sister?
The sister does. Sorry, not the sister. The sister lover.
Yeah, Ghost does not fall in love with
Ghost
Asta.
Hates Asta.
Yeah, you know this, and so does the mom or the aunt or the big sister or whatever that he meets.
This arc was good. Is this the one where Yami comes in and deals that? Let's just talk about that because that was the coolest
the whole
part.
Fight when Lick it's when Lick comes in, everything was kind of okay, but when Lick gets introduced and it's like, oh, things are serious. I love it when like the big villain shows up out of nowhere. I always like it.
But I also like when Gouch. I like Gouch's moment where his sister, where he ends up being less selfless, where he's like, where he cares more about than just his sister. He also cares about his comrades. I liked that. And at this point, I was like, yeah, he's a sister lover, but I do like Gouch. Like, I liked him at this point.
Yeah.
I think that was good.
Yeah, but this fight, like, between Captain Yami and, like, and then Lick, and then eventually Asta joins in, it's really good. The animation's, like, it jumps up a notch.
Clips. It was good.
Really, really good. And it has, like, one of my favorite moments in the show. It's, like, it's when, it comes up later, but this entire fight is really well. I think this is when we first. I think if I remember correctly, it's when we first get introduced to Captain Yami's, power essentially.
Yes.
I don't know if I can look it up here, but it's essentially shadow or dark magic. I think it's dark magic is what it's called or something like that. He always says dark cloaks. Yeah, dark magic. There you go.
Yeah.
really good and really cool.
Yeah.
And eventually the
This is
magic.
when the art really kicked up a notch. I wasn't a big fan of the art, and I also wasn't a big fan of the paneling. I felt like the panels a lot of the time were very condensed and kind of made me feel squished at times. But I do like that it's kind of like drawn like an old grimoire. Like you would see, like some of the lines are incomplete, and it makes you feel like it's an old manuscript. I like that.
See, that's yeah. Yeah, I always find because I'm coming from the anime, and looking at panels in the manga makes me wish I read the manga. But the anime does it really well, and eventually the like 3 more Magic Knight captains show up, and what was I gonna say? And then like Asta does a surprise attack like with that's a really cool moment. Or like
it is a good moment, but also once again, Asta gets beaten down, wins. Then I'm pretty sure at the end he declares he's going to become the Wizard King. So I'm seeing a little bit of a pattern here.
Oh, let's find out. I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but if I had to guess how it ended, because that's how the last 3 arcs ended.
Oh, you keep going. I was just gonna look it up real quick and see that happened because I think that's hilarious. That actually happens.
But I think this was a good arc. What I think is the best arc is definitely the next arc. What I liked in between this arc and the next one was that it gave us a little bit of a breathing room, because it kind of felt like at this point things were just happening, and there was no time to breathe. Like I said, it's okay if you give us this amount of characters. Other shonen, One Piece has millions of characters, and I remember mostly all of them because Oda doesn't, give us. There is a arc in Dressrosa where he does release a lot of characters, but that is only rare. Like, he gives us breathing room to remember these characters and all this stuff. It is a big trope for shonen to have a lot of anime characters. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just the amount of characters that we get in such a short amount of time, and the amount of information we get, I don't process it all. And so I need to take a massive break after like 3 chapters, because I'm like, oh god, there's so much that happened, and it gives me a headache. But the next arc, Edgar.
Yeah, the seabed temple arc.
Yeah,
is what it's called. It first starts out, I think, how either the previous arc ends or how this one starts is that they find out there's a traitor within the royal captains. It ends up being the big purple one. His design looks stupid.
Yeah.
But that happens, and we get some backstory between
Or isn't he like the wizard?
The Wizard King.
Wizard?
I'm so stupid. Yeah. The Magic King. The Wizard King. And I forgot his name too. Whoops.
But you're talking about the Wizard King. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Wizard King and Yami have a chat, and they kind of talk, and it kind of flashes back to like how they met, which is really cool. Just more good stuff from their characters. And eventually, I don't know exactly remember why they go to the beach, because that's eventually where they end up at. Which seems like filler.
To have a beach episode.
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure they go to the beach.
In the anime, I'm like, well, I guess we're going to the beach episode. Yeah. We're having a filler, but I'm like, oh no, this is like, this is what happens. Like, it's in the manga.
I mean, but also a beach episode in a medieval, type. I just feel like it just doesn't fit the vibe.
Do swimsuits exist in this world?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is I'm like
swim trunks.
I'm like Tabata, you can't have both. Like I understand. But I also don't and the swimsuits all look modern, and I'm like, what is happening?
Inflatable. There's a beach ball.
There's a beach. Like, what is happening, dude? Like,
I guess that's what I mean. I never thought about that when I saw. I was like, okay. I mean, it's an anime, so I guess we're getting a beach episode.
I did, and I wish I didn't, because when you think about it, that's when it all goes downhill.
If I remember correctly, at some point, either during this arc or right before, Noelle has like a wand or something like that.
Yeah.
She has like a wand.
She's like trying to figure out her power, right?
Trying to control it.
Yeah, she's trying, because she's only been defense at this point, and she kind of wants to do attack, which I enjoyed that part. Like I'm like I said, every time she's not a Cinder, like it's good. And then she meets this girl who's like a singer and teaches her a little bit more, and they're the underwater people, and they go they eventually go underwater and they have like this mini tournament without Captain Yami.
Yeah, I forget what they say. I know why they go there. Eventually, there's some contest that they kind of shove them in.
Oh,
but I
don't
forget.
they need that stone? Don't they need?
Oh
the
yeah, they're
stone
searching
for
for
the
stones
wizard,
now.
The Wizard King.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens.
There you go.
They're searching for it.
Yeah.
And I think the main guy, the leader of this group, has it.
Yeah.
But
He's like, I'll give it to you if you win. Nim, 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 nim.
yeah,
Kind of like that.
I don't like his design. He kind of looks stupid.
Oh, really?
But either way, pretty unique stuff. Like we get there's a tournament and they go through these. I think Captain Yami sits out of it while the rest of the the Black Bulls end up. I think not Ghosh. The mime guy, what's his name? I forgot his name again.
Gordon or something.
Gordon, he got left. They really treat him poorly. Like they really forget about Gordon a lot. He just gets left back home.
Gray also gets revealed in this.
Yeah,
arc.
it's true form. It's a girl.
Yeah.
We thought it was some big guy or something like that.
Yeah.
But some big girls really shy.
But the villains, the Eye of the something, they show up.
Oh, just one of them shows up. I think, if I remember, it's the big guy.
I think it's 3. I believe it's 3 that show up.
I forget. I know it revolves around one big guy, but I'm pretty sure. It's just
yes, because remember, Luck and Magna has to take down one, and then Asta, Noelle, Vanessa, and the teleporting guy also take down the big guy together. And I liked that. That was good. That was really good. The teleporting stuff, and then of course Yami comes in to save the day.
The animation it jumps up here, and the fight was really cool. And this is when it really starts to feel like they're working together and showing that their magic skills, although bizarre, complement each other, and they're trying to find ways to fight and not giving up.
My favorite power so far is the teleportation guy. I feel like that one was the most explained and is the most unique.
Yeah. The voice of Gen from from Dr. Stone, I forget what his name is, but he voices
Oh, really?
Yeah, he voices
nice. I love him.
Yeah, he's really good. There's a funny moment between Yami and the dub and with Yami and that character. Finral? Yeah, Finral. Yeah, it's really good. But the fight's really cool, and at some point in the anime, when Asta really tries to do his final attack, it gets black and white, and the first opening plays. I usually don't like it when that happens, or it doesn't make any sense when that happens, but it worked here, and it's really cool. But this is a really good arc, just in terms of fight. Everything jumps up, everyone compliments each other. We get to learn more about the Black Bulls, essentially.
Yeah.
But
everybody has a part.
Yeah, Vanessa.
Which a lot of mangas don't do, So I think that was good.
Yeah, I'm sorry if this entire summary. It's been a while for me since I forget about it. I just knew a few names and I know the essential stuff. What happens? I just forget why they end up places or why they show up there.
Yeah, they don't. I think this summary is fine. I don't think that they need, if you read Black Clover, you did, and if you didn't, you haven't,
And if you're a fan, I'm sorry. I like this. I gave it a 7 out of 10, in my anime list, which is still a good rating. I just never felt that connected to. Like I said, it's something that everyone should have to, check out. I just don't get the hype.
I like the story, guys. I know we're crapping on it a lot, but I genuinely I think it's okay. For me, I usually rate stuff I like a 10 or a 10 out of 10, a 9 or an 8. Those are the stuff that I like, and I just kind of rate off of that. But if I had to rate this off of that scale, it'd probably be a 6, a 7. But then if I rated it critically, it's bang average. It's a 5. But I think, I'm only in the first 5 arcs. There's plenty of story to go. So maybe they'll turn this around. So there's a lot of story left. So
I just told you here that if you didn't not get hooked, but if you didn't like anything up until this point, you probably shouldn't keep going.
But I like the last arc the best. The last arc is a 7 out of 10. It's really good. It is a really good arc. I don't think that any of the other stuff was that great.
The next 3 arcs are really good, especially the first one and the third after, but the middle one's good. They're all good. They're all great. But I think at the next arc in the anime, the anime quality really dipped, and I was like, not, you know, kind of like, yeah, because I think they were focusing on Boruto so much. They should just drop Boruto.
Yeah, why?
If you're doing so much filler, and if you want to,
it probably also doesn't help that their nickname is Magic Naruto, and the same studio is doing it. And it probably didn't help.
like, I don't understand why they give some Boruto bother with attention when all you're doing is filler, and then they have Black Clover, which you could elevate all the good things about it and give it the fantastic best adaptation.
I think Boruto, even though it's not good, I think it will always have more.
Who cares?
I think it'll always have more viewers than Black Clover.
Unfortunately, that might be the case, but I think people trash in Boruto and know it, that it's just trash to begin with, you know. So, but I like this series.
Me too.
I want to read the manga because I think the manga is better than the anime in terms of pacing based on what I've seen in the anime. I love the dub. It's like one of the highlights of the show. I really like it a lot, and there's a lot of characters, and I like the designs. I think everything's, you know, clean. I just feel that this series is overly rated. There's a lot more like it. It really feels like a copy paste type you know, series. There's a lot of new things and unique things that the series does, but I
just want to say, I promise we're not haters. Go in any other one of our Manga Monday shows or Shonen Junks. Usually, we like to talk about things that we like. If we didn't like Black Clover, we wouldn't be talking about it. You know. However, it is, you know, in the job that we want to do, it is important for us to figure out what we don't like about a story and why we don't like it. Like, if we don't like things, we're probably just going to drop it. And if this maybe becomes, you know, something that we won't do that until, you know, we get paid to do it, because right now we're just doing this for fun, you know?
Yeah.
And it will stay that way.
I also feel like you can't really critique something if you haven't seen it all the way through.
No, definitely.
Like, you can have opinions on it, but if you're gonna do a full-on critique, you might you have to watch it all. So
of course.
you know, we have a say in it because we've seen it at least up until this point in the story for you, and I've seen my fair share. Maybe it does get like fun. I've heard a lot of great things about where the manga is right now in these past few arcs.
Well, I hope so, because it's the final arc, you know.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, so I hope it gets there, and I hope I really get into it. But yeah, pretty much this is our part one, I guess. Not really. No, I'm not rushing you. I'm not rushing you, Ben, to read this.
No, I'm gonna take some more time.
I just found it cool that you were reading this series, considering it was one that no one I know with talks about it. Yeah, I was super surprised that you picked it up. So whenever you finish, you know, your fair share, a good chunk of it, probably where I am now will be a good part to stop. Good part. And if
where are you right now?
I don't know. In the manga, I don't know, but in the anime, it's like 140. I think it's at the beginning of the Spade Kingdom arc or something like that. I don't know what it's called.
That's a good place.
But that'd be probably a good place to stop, because there's like these next few arcs are pretty long. Sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I give it a 7 out of 10. Ben gives it a 5 or 6, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I mean, in terms of enjoyment and you know, it's a 7. It's a low 7, but it's a 7. In terms of critical, it's average. It's a 5. It's a high 5, but it's a 5.
High 5. Yeah, but yeah, it's one of the series that I like a lot, but that I realize like there's a lot of things I don't like about it.
Don't take these ratings to heart. We don't focus too much on ratings, but you know, they're kind of like where we're at right now. But yeah.
Go check it out if you haven't seen it. I mean, we're not selling it that well. There's a lot of things to like about it, and if you like it, if you love it a lot, go ahead and give it, support it. But I just felt like there's not enough people that look at it where like, are y'all reading the same thing I'm seeing? Or are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
And I mean, you can like things and not like, and know that it's not the best thing in the world. You know? Like, this is what I kind of feel about it right now.
I feel like if people were like hyping this up as much as people did with Sword Art Online, some would say, well, Sword Art Online sucks and it's different. Yeah, you're right. But if people were giving it that hype, I'd be like, what are y'all talking about? Like, it is not that good.
Right. But I realize now, I'm always like, I feel like from the outsider looking in, I always felt like Black Clover was a big manga. Like, just the name of it, like, I feel like it rings around in the anime sphere so much. But it's always what is Shonen Jump right now? It's Luffy in the middle, Itadori to his left, and Deku to his right, and then Asta's in the background, like with his thumbs up.
But when it comes to like the new big three, which doesn't exist, but when people say it, they always include Black Clover, and I know it is that big, and it is that big, but I just never felt like it earned it, like in my heart.
No,
it is that big. It has the numbers. I mean, not nearly as big as My Hero and whatnot, but I just never like understood, why it earned it.
Yeah.
And for people who hate My Hero might not like it because I just feel like My Hero, in my opinion, is a pretty good anime. I also feel like it's overhyped, but I feel like it does the things sufficiently enough to enjoy the series a lot more than Black Clover does. And it makes
I think it's miles above. It's a simple
story. You love it. I like My Hero.
I love My Hero. It's what brought me into this work. So it always has to be one of my favorites. But I think, like, in terms of hype and big moments, I just don't like this. Where My Hero Academia was at this part, far better than what Black Clover is right now. But yeah that's it.
But that's pretty much it. I don't know what we'll be talking about next in the coming weeks, but we will have a lot more news to talk about because that's just the way the world works.
Yeah, that's how the world works.
But yeah, look forward to more of our opinions, trash or not. If you want trash on us, who cares? We don't. But either way, if you support us, thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
We'll keep talking about more stuff like this, topics on what we read. Give us a suggestion what to read next. We'll probably take it to heart, and we're gonna keep reading so we can talk about more stuff.
Yeah, if you put in the comments, you guys should read blank. We will probably read it. Yeah. Just because we want to be interactive with you guys.
Yeah, I know Ben wants me to read Jujutsu Kaisen. That's really soon. That's coming up soon.
Like Edgar talked about, what do you want me to read the most? Jujutsu. I want you to read Jujutsu now. Like, read it right now.
Yeah.
Like, end the podcast right now and go read it. No,
but imagine I did that, but I read something else. Because I've told you to read so much. I'm glad you picked up Soul Eater. Yeah. I just didn't expect you to pick up this, like Black Clover.
Well, I just did it because I wanted to join the hype train towards the end. But yeah, we'll see.
I really want to talk about Soul Eater next. So I guess
we'll get there. Well, let me read one or two more volumes, and then we.
No. Read a lot more, of course. But that's like a thing I'm looking forward to.
That's what I'm really enjoying. Right, that and Vagabond are and Spy Family.
Yeah,
those are the three that I'm reading right now that I'm really enjoying. And I think Black Clover kind of got overshadowed by Soul Eater.
That's okay. I just wanted to talk about it before we forgot. We did forget a lot, but it would have been a lot worse.
No. I remember everything about Soul Eater. I know all the names of the characters because I'm in love with it. I love Soul Eater.
Good to hear it. Can't wait for that. And we can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. See ya.
Bye.